Welcome to the Healing Lifestyle Podcast, a sacred space for living, healing, and ascension. I'm your host, Shonda Domingo, ancestral medium, movement healer, and founder of Domingo Training. Here we explore mind, body, and spirit practices for wholeness and ascension through meditations, rituals, ancestral connection, and holistic living. Take a breath, take a moment, let's begin. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Healing Lifestyle Podcast. I am your host, ancestral medium and movement healer, Shonda Domingo, and I got the one, the only, Delise Hampton with me today. I'm so excited. She's all the things, y'all. She is a doula, activist, artist, healer, advocate, like soul, tribe, everything. All the things. And I'm really excited to dive into your wisdom in your gym. So thank you for being with us on this episode. Thank you for being with me.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you for this divine timing and alignment.
Listen, Linda.
I'm grateful. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I am on my healing journey. One of the things that I had realized was the power of music. And not just like a lot of people play what's called like the frequency music, if you're trying to have a hertz at a certain chakra level and all the things. But I really started paying attention to even the lyrics of the music that I either had been listening to or was beginning to listen to as I started my healing journey. And I was like, wait, it don't matter if it's hertz or not. All frequency got a music. All music has a frequency. Mm-hmm. And so when our paths crossed, Delise was my teacher in the herbalism program that y'all have heard me refer to so many times, cultivation program at the Material Institute. I brought Crystal on here, I brought Elle on here, Vanessa on here, all the fam. Been sliding through on me. I'm so grateful. But I really wanted to be even more so, everybody I've been intentional with the ask, right? And for you, I feel like there is so much power in music and in sound when we're on our healing journey. And so I wanted to have you on the episode to really dive into the science behind it, the medicine behind it, right? And can we start with just kind of how sound and music just became a part of who you are? Because she do sound bowls and all that, y'all. She do all the things.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you so much for having me and having me tell these very intricate details of how sound is truly a usher of healing. Right.
Yeah.
So my journey with sound. Okay, so I'm gonna start very simply because we are in the time of the 20th year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. So sound was the way that I got through that, right? Sound in both ways, right? So when I think about my journey to healing from that particular experience, I was listening to Lil Wayne every day. Okay. And that was like the first snippet of sound that started to like resonate within me. And then I started to activate my own ways of healing through my own voice, through my own activations. And it started with poetry. So I would write all the time with poetry. And then from poetry, it went to spoken word. From spoken word, I started to sing in church. I was the only kid in the adult choir. So that particular activation kind of like catapulted me into bringing my voice as the medium of healing. And then from there, went to rapping and doing all the other things.
Mm-hmm.
And sound healing in particular has been like that came last. So it started with music
Mm-hmm.
as a force of healing. And now I'm in the era where I don't have too much to say over the
Mm-hmm.
sounds,
Mm-hmm.
and allowing the sounds to be the message, to be the fullness of what I want to say. So that's kind of the trajectory. And I come from a family of musicians. In the Ninth Ward, all my family is from the lower Ninth Ward, and my great grandfather was a drummer, and he ushered in all of my great aunts and uncles to play an instrument. So I come from a lineage of a lot of like sound and music and rhythms and that alchemy of sound, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
we think about the church and there's a lot of things to say about it, but one
Mm-hmm.
thing is when a person was singing a solo or when it went from the choir to the soloist, there was a resonance
Mm-hmm. Yes.
that everyone could feel. And sometimes people shouted and hopped up
Mm-hmm.
and there's a resonance that we feel when
Mm-hmm.
someone is activating a certain level of sound from their soul.
Mm-hmm.
Um and whether it's church, whether it's a sound healing, whether it's you speaking at a court session, like all of these are ways that we continue to activate that particular soul sound. So yeah, I went a lot of ways, but sound has been like so integral in my life and my journey to this path of healing myself. Yeah.
And so, what in all those ways, because it's like you're integrating, right, with sound almost in every energetic form,
Hmm.
like that it can come in,
Yeah.
whether it's through words, through however we identify or look at music, through singing, humming, like all the things. Can you share a little bit of how that works? Like, can you share maybe some of the like the science behind it, or maybe the spiritual technology behind it? I know we already talked about that resonance, which I think anybody who, for me, I would never forget. I've never been a kid that grew up like my daddy was the church person. Like my
Hmm.
daddy would wake up and go to church, and then I would
Hmm.
lay in the bed with my mama and watch Fred Astaire and Ginger. Like that was my Sunday mornings. And then every now and then my mama would be like, we need to go to church with your daddy. And I'd be like, all
Mm.
right. And then but I would never forget in high school sitting in Miss Downs' class at McDonald 35 in New
Mhm.
Orleans.
Mhm.
And the choir was like practicing or something with like, I was listening to Total Praise. And there was something about hearing, it's like when they get to the end of the song, it's like they start stacking those sounds. You know what I'm talking about. It's
Mhm.
like, right, look, my
Mhm.
head is tingling.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
as I talk about it, it's like I remember being in like 11th grade and just crying. Like, as
Mm.
I heard them sing, and nothing was wrong. And I just was like crying. I mean, like, just tears. And I remember being like, I'm feeling all the things. This has never happened before.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
whenever you talk about that resonance, it makes me think of that. And one time when I was in church, this is before I had my boys, but my dad, when I was growing up, my dad used to sing Sweet Spirit. Like
Mhm.
there's a sweet, my dad sound like Blue from the Temptations, like super deep
Mm.
tenor underneath chocolate
touch touch you.
voice.
It.
Yeah, like I remember my dad. So my dad used to sing Sweet Sweet Spirit. And my dad passed in like 2004. So this was probably 2019, 2018. But I remember being in church and the pastor just started singing the song and I just like
Mm.
started crying. And I've heard it since my dad passed, was just something about that moment, that resonance. And I think at that time, I looked at my pastor at that time as like a father figure. So just the fact that like, he sung that song out of the blue. It made me be like,
Mm.
made me feel like my dad was sending me a message, like in
Mhm.
that moment, like I'm here with you, like I got you, all the things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So So can you explain to us like how that frequency works when we're feeling those things, or even when we healing? A lot of people are getting more interested in wanting to go to sound baths and different things like that. How does it all work? Can you share that with us?
Yes. So, the science of sound, there's like so many things that we could get into. And I'm a nerd around science, okay? But I don't want look, I want to stay in the space. So the way that sound travels, we're gonna start from there. So when you hear something, the sound that travels from that sound to your ears is in a particular sound wave that communicates directly to your ear and then to your brain.
Mhm.
So that particular sensory experience goes from your ear to your brain, and from your brain synthesizes it or communicates it, alchemizes it into a frequency that resonates with certain parts of uh your brain function.
Mhm.
So um I know that's like,
It makes sense though. It tracks. It
it
tracks.
sounds very
It tracks.
simple, right?
But also,
But the sound that we create, so like the
mhm,
sound that comes from our voice, from our throat. If
mhm,
you ever look at a set of sound bowls, the biggest sound bowl is your throat, right?
mm,
So
mhm,
the reason why that sound bowl is the biggest sound bowl is because that's the most magnetizing force field that we have, right? So when we say like, when you speak, it becomes your existence, that's a real conjuring. So every sound that comes out of our mouth becomes a true reality, right? Good, bad, and different.
mhm,
So that also goes to our ears and what we hear. So what we're consuming with sound also becomes a part of our reality, because the part of the brain that receives sound is the creative side. So you're able to like create and imagine and like resonate with whatever you're listening to. So if you're
mhm,
listening to something that is the opposite of what you're speaking, your
mhm,
body will constantly be in fight or flight or appease. Like, do I fight this? Do I flight with this? Do I appease this? Like, your body will constantly be in this space of trying to figure out what is the resonance that you truly want to live in, because what you're
mm,
saying and what you're hearing is two totally different things.
mm.
So the biggest piece on my particular journey that I have learned is that, like, I have to intentionally consume sound. And although sometimes, when you're riding in your car, you can't control if a police car drives past and that starts to activate your nervous system. Like, you can't really control that. But you can control when you walk into your house, what sounds do you hear? When you go into bed, what sounds do you hear? When you wake up in the morning, what sounds do you hear? Beyond like, picking up your phone and listening to the sounds of Instagram, but like, what are the sounds that you are surrounding yourself with to shift how your brain processes the sound? Um, and I'm also like a deep neuroscience nerd too. So,
Give us all the
um,
things, because I'm tracking with you. I'm tracking. Yeah.
so when you listen to something that you have listened to before,
Mhm.
so like the song that your dad used to sing, right?
Mhm.
When you listen to that, there are certain neural pathways in your brain that are activated, right?
Mhm.
So think about it like, when you riding down what street? I'm gonna say when you riding down Orleans, right?
Mhm.
So you riding down Orleans. So think about that as your neural pathway, right? So you're
Mhm.
riding down Orleans, chilling, vibing, and you know this route. you know this route. You're going right to Orleans and Claiborne, you know. For all my people who are not from New Orleans, Orleans and Claiborne is where Mardi Gras traditionally happens for our
Mm-hmm.
community. So, you know, you get to Orleans and Claiborne and you like, do I go right? Do I go left? So that particular neural pathway that is in your brain from memory decides if it's going to go to the right or if it's going to go to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you are like, say, you know, like I said before, I was listening to Lil Wayne, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my brain was wired to go to the right, right? It was wired to take that right there on Orleans and Claiborne, and it knows which way to go after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on how those neurons connect and make that particular pathway. Now, when
Mm-hmm.
you're on your journey of wanting to change that pathway, change that memory,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know, the good memories we want to keep. We want to keep
Right.
those very strong. We want to keep
Mm-hmm.
those neurons like hanging out with each other on the corner, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's the ones that we want to change that can sometimes be very stubborn, like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's like breaking up a friend group. Like you trying to change your neural pathways. No, I'm telling you that this is the sound that I want to hear right now, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like you have to train your brain to do something differently. And in training your brain to do something differently, your body will respond in the ways that it needs to, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it may go through withdrawals, it may be angry, it may be anxious, it may have all of these things going on within it, but it's working to come from the brain, go to the left on Orleans and Claiborne instead of to the right, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's working to actively change the memory so that you can be directed from a path that you have been on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the neurons have found their connection to a
Mm-hmm.
path that is least traveled. Um,
Mm.
and it's a very like real thing to do. Like it's not
No,
easy at all.
absolutely. No,
It's a very
it's a
difficult
new muscle.
experience.
It's a
Yes.
whole new
Yes.
muscle.
It's a
Um,
true practice, you know?
yes, which is why it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
That
Yes.
part.
Yes.
So when we're thinking about how it shifts, right? Like how we have to do this work to basically get into a new pattern, something that's more, something healthier, something that is more in alignment with who we are, us living. I always say, like, in your purpose, your divine assignment, all the things, right?
Hmm.
When you're looking at embracing sound as a part of that journey, understanding that whatever I listen to intentionally, whether it's a TV show, a song, or a sound bath, right, it's going to impact the way my brain processes the information that's already there and the changes of the information that I'm trying to kind of, I always say, reprogram, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Where do you think someone who's interested in any of that, where should they start? What's a good, like, where in their lifestyle when engaging with sound should they start? Should it be the TV shows that they're watching? Should it be the music that they're listening to? Um, what is the layer of shifting your relationship with sound look like when you're on your healing journey? Like, I know for me now, it's like I love going to sleep with frequency, like heart frequency music. I just started playing around with like the subliminal, like affirmations. When I wake up in the morning, along with like burning my incense, I also like to play hertz music throughout the house, like heart chakra hertz music, or just because my boys are 5, right? I
Hmm.
played Chris and Teve. So it's
Hmm.
all like kind of like affirmation rap music. So they're like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna put myself first, first,
Hey,
first. So it's like music like,
hey.
you know, I'm proud of myself. Like, but it's like, we vibing.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. It's
it's like,
bopping.
and
It's a
it's
bop.
not too much, but it's like nice affirmation bops. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I like to play that in the morning. And I noticed over time, like when lifes, right? Or if something happens and I get triggered, sometimes my brain goes to that music for, like, I remember those songs rather than just like go get some ice cream, you know, go like go take a nap. It's time to go binge. Like that kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm still human. I still got binge moments. Don't get it
Mm-hmm.
twisted.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not from a survival mode. It really is just from a pure enjoyment, mode. So for someone that's like, how do I shift that for me? Like, how do I like sign me up? Where would those people start?
Yeah, so I would say, all of our journeys are different. So, um, the first piece of the journey is to bring awareness to where you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, take inventory of the sounds that you hear throughout the day and how they make you feel, right? So, in that inventory, you could say, this morning I woke up, I listened to one of my favorite songs and it made me feel like bam. I think many times on the journey, um, we have a lot of prescriptions, right? But I think your first healer is yourself, right?
Yes. Yes.
So bringing awareness to how sound impacts you by observing yourself with the sound, bringing awareness to how your body reacts to certain sounds helps to give you a springboard and a baseline for, okay, I know that when I listened to this song, it made me angry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take that off my playlist so that I can listen to this other song that made me very happy. So it's rewiring and also being very aware of how your body responds to certain sounds. Because I could listen to something and it like calms me down. It helps me to like get real chill, real vibe,
Mm-hmm.
real vibey.
Mm-hmm.
But I could play that exact same thing to like my sister
Mm-hmm.
or my brother. And they'll be like, Delise, what is this? Like they don't have that same like response or reaction. And um yeah, just like curtailing your experience to your responses. So I would say do like a day of observing the sounds and how you respond to them. Um, and then like take a moment to listen to something like a frequency or a meditation or a chakra tuning and see how your body feels in comparison to the things that you would listen to every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you wake up and you have a morning playlist that you listen to every day, listen to your morning playlist and then listen to a frequency and compare how your body responds to the two. Of course, the morning routine is much more familiar. So your body has built-in responses to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just starting your journey, the frequencies may not have much of a resonance,
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to require you to get into yourself, like slow down, breathe,
Mm-hmm.
bring awareness to what is happening in your ears. But there is um a level of experimentation that is always present in the healing journey, right?
Yes,
We
absolutely.
like, baby, that
We
didn't work
figure
for
this out.
me, but baby, I'm gonna try something else. Like
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
finding what that experimentation is. So I would say, observing yourself and your responses to sound would
Mm-hmm.
be my first line of defense, or my first line of like journeying.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, and then like listen to your favorite song, like if you are out and about and you hear this song,
Mm-hmm.
like what does it do to you? What
Yeah.
happens to your body? And then what
Mm-hmm.
happens to your mind when you are in that very very familiar place?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my tip. The first piece of what I believe, would help to activate that awareness to sound. Because I think, we are inundated with so many things that we are not forced. Well, we could say forced to
Mm-hmm.
consume without our permission.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we turn that to a more intentional consumption of sound.
Well, I like how you said, I didn't even think about it at first when you said the sounds of Instagram. And I was like, when you said it, I was like, oh, that's real. Like there's a series of sounds that you interact with and that you experience and take in. It's not, I think it's not just images,
Mm,
it's actual like sounds.
mhm,
I'm
mhm,
like, okay, you have
mhm,
me thinking like even just beyond press and play, right? Beyond not like the wind and the plants and everything. I know it's all sound, but I'm thinking about just all the things that we interact with on a daily basis that we may not realize is sound. um
mhm,
and
mhm.
and to take just to really really look at all of those things
Yeah.
and how they really are impacting us.
Yeah. I mean, we could even bring it to something like and this may be, traumatic or triggering in
Hmm.
any way. So if there needs to be breathing or an
Hmm.
opportunity to,
Hmm.
you know, do what you need
Take
to
a
do,
moment.
take
Yeah.
a moment. But even the sound of like if you got whippings as a child, right?
Hmm.
Like the sound of something in the wind, like that,
That snap. Hmm.
like it don't even have to be a belt. It could be something totally different, but
Hmm.
the sound resonates in the same way.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
there's our bodies are like constantly processing information
Hmm.
constantly. um which is another tip that I would have is like sit in silence.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because silence is a sound too. you
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
yeah, so you know um yeah, also knowing that it doesn't have to be the direct sound that uh shifts you.
Right. But
Sometimes
listen,
it's something that sound like it that could
yeah,
trigger
yeah,
that can
it's
uh
something similar.
yeah, yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
So one of the other things I wanted to ask you, and that I know like a lot of people have been asking me as well, is when it comes to when we mentioned like frequency music, right? And I hear people like, well, what is it? Like, what is frequency music? What is chakra music? Um, can you explain to people what it is and how it actually, just like any, how does it resonate with the body? How does it interact with the body when we're looking at it as a healing tool or a healing modality?
Mhm. So, everything on this planet has a frequency. Plants have a frequency. Um, the human body has a frequency. The sound of the womb has a frequency. Like we put our feet on the ground, that's a frequency. Is the earth has a frequency that it vibrates at in order for everything
Mhm.
to grow, for the sun to move, for the moon to move. Like all of this is moving based on a certain frequency, right? And when we look at it's called the solfeggio frequencies. Those are mainly the frequencies that a particular scientist created that resonate directly to the body, right? So when we look at like the Om mantra, right? So Om was noted as the first sound ever in history, like the first sound, right? And that particular frequency, um, if we say it literally resonates throughout our entire body, right? And when we hear it, it does the same thing, right? Um, so those particular frequencies also happen on a spectrum, right? So we have low frequencies that um resonate with our lower selves, right? So lower selves meaning like our safety, our stability, our rootedness, our groundedness, our power, our source energy. And then we have our higher frequencies, which resonate more with creation and insight and being able to see beyond what we see, right? So the higher frequencies are um directly connected to what a lot of people call like enlightenment, or getting to another level of human existence where spirit is an integral part of your existence, right?
Mhm.
And that's what we going for. That's what we shooting for. We shooting for enlightenment, and we may get elevation. You know what I'm saying?
Ascension is the
But
goal. Ascension
we
is the goal.
shooting for it. Okay, we
Exactly,
shooting for it.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, so it's all on a spectrum, and everything resonates on different parts of the spectrum. So when you are like in a very like stressful space and you need an opportunity um to ground yourself, listening to a lower frequency helps with your body getting regulated to feeling more safe and feeling more secure. When you're in a space where your mind is doing its monkey mind thing, where it's just running, 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 it's great to listen to higher frequencies because it helps to declutter your mind and helps you to focus on what what are the thoughts that you want to invite in, and what are the thoughts that you want to let stay at bay. And I think the biggest piece is because it's on a spectrum. There is a level of like no like it's a lot going on in my brain, but
Mhm.
think about it as like as above so below, and think about that as in our bodies too, right? So
Mm,
many
mhm,
times when our lower self has um insecurity and an unsafe tendency, there's also a level of
mhm,
the higher self that needs to be regulated too. So
mhm,
they're always like communicating with one another. Like,
mhm, mhm.
and I think in this particular journey, like we always like not we. There's a focus on like wanting to compartmentalize the experience when it's
Right.
all deeply interconnected.
Yes.
So if your lower self is feeling something, your higher self needs a little loving too. Like it's
Mhm.
they both need, you know,
It's
you
all working
know,
in tandem. Yeah,
yeah.
it's all working in tandem. I always tell people, don't think just because, like, oh, people are like, oh, well, I'm gonna focus on my root chakra. I'm like, but it's all connected too. Like, yes, give it what it needs, but please remember that that energy is impacting everything else. So once you do that, you go ahead and just keep you're gonna work your way up. And sometimes I used to tell people like you don't just heal one chakra at a time. Like everything flows. Like yes, our insecurity and instability and trust, all of that is yes, is in our lower half, but it's still gonna impact your heart and how open you are to trusting people,
Mhm.
to trusting yourself. It's still gonna impact how you communicate. It's still gonna
Mhm.
impact how you're perceiving things. So it's all
Mhm.
still, still connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like I was like, "Yes, thank you for saying that." Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, just like on those frequencies, there is just a level of um like when you go to get a sound bath, right?
Mhm.
Um there is a beauty in like how the sound bathes you and how it
Mhm.
allows you to like truly relax. Um and I think that's the biggest part of sound is that it is meant to like catapult you into a space of like awareness into your body.
Mm. Mhm.
Um and whether you want to have awareness towards love and care or
Mhm.
awareness towards the opposite of those,
Mm.
there are sounds to support both, you know
Right.
and it's like choosing what sounds will you consume.
Mm. Mhm. And what do you need to activate what needs to be released? like in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah. I feel like you just took us on like this journey of like start here and like this is how it's gonna stack. And then you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna look up and then you can pick and choose what you
Mm-hmm.
need, where you need to go and where you need to flow.
It's a
Like from
buffet.
there. It's a buffet. Yeah. You got options. You got
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
And I think
Oh
that's the biggest piece of the journey. It's like it's always
yes.
options. There's
There is no
always
one way.
choice. There's
Yes,
no.
there's no one way. Well, you said it. You said it and we are our first healer. And it's like we are the tool, the technology, the medicine. Is just all about how we interact with the things that are available to us to amplify what we need to help us release, shift, reprogram, and all the things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you, Delise, so
Yeah.
much. Tell people like
No problem.
how they can engage with you. Tell people how and where they can find you. All the things.
Yes. Thank you so much, Shonda, for having me.
Yes, thank you.
I'm deeply appreciative. So people can find me online. My practitioner name and my performance artist name is High Heel Doula. So the heel is spelled Heal, and doula is Doula. I find myself always having to spell it just to make sure.
Hmm.
So you can find me on Instagram at High Heel Doula, and on my website it's highheelproductions.com. I offer group sound beds and one-to-one sound beds. I'm also a doula and you know all the other things.
Hmm.
Yeah, and my next, I mean, at the moment, I have paused from performing. So, in order to focus on like the frequency um, of um, of what I feel like is needed right now. Like
Hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of words in the atmosphere, a lot of words. So wanting to just simplify and get to a space where like I want people to be able to hear a sound and feel the sound at the same time. So been doing a lot of just science around that.
Hmm.
um so yeah, that's where you could find me online. I'm from New Orleans, so I'm in New Orleans, you know what I'm saying. You could find me in the garden,
Hmm.
uh planting some stuff, listening to the plants. Um, yeah, that's me. It's always a very interesting experience to
Well, we're
talk
all,
about self.
yeah, we're all like, yes, I actually did an episode that it just came out. I just didn't feel comfortable with just having an episode where I just talked about myself. So my friend was like, "Well, I'll be the guest, but I'll ask you the questions." So it was good. It was good practice.
Mm,
It was good,
yes,
good, good, good practice. So I understand the having to talk about self situation
yes, yes,
for sure. I'm
yes. I
very
think I'm gonna
happy.
have to take that tip. Have
Yeah,
one of my
listen,
one of my
because it's
friends
like
just
you
be
want to
like,
put yourself out there, but also, you know.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
feel like, and we're so authentic when we're with our, when we're with our people, when we're
hmm,
talking about ourselves and what we do, and we're in a different kind of frequency or like
hmm,
passionate space when we do it.
hmm,
And I
hmm.
think that comes across when we share it in all the different spaces.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank
No
you
problem. Thank
again.
you.
Y'all make sure you stay connected to Delise. Ask her all the things. I'm sending people to your DM.
Yes.
Stay connected.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
Right. But to also stay connected to her music, stay connected to her work. She's putting beautiful art and healing art out here into the world. So thank you again.
Yes, thank you.
Yay.
Thank you, Shonda.
Yes, for everyone listening, keep going, keep growing, keep healing. You got this. Yes. Thank you for joining me on the Healing Lifestyle Podcast. May today's reflections support your healing, your ascension, and your wholeness. To deepen your journey, book an ancestral reading or explore my new ebook guide, Chakra Wellness. This gives you the foundation for healing with crystals, herbs, and movement. Visit domingotraining.com or connect with me on social media at Domingo Training. Until next time, keep going, keep growing, keep healing.